integrity is your word, I would turn to books. You begin to experience an identity shift. I'm going to read that to get really good. Failing forward is fine. People just lie. I left the country, and then all of a sudden one of the parts of our vision board was great. We want to have a house with enough land to have a farm and a swimming pool, because I want my kids to experience nature. I'm kind of leaning you all towards is identity shift, okay? This is what you will ultimately, I would want you to walk away with, a bit of an identity shift. I'm changing my identity. I'm going to become the driver and the growth engine in my business and in my life. And that involves you reinventing yourself. So identity shift is a big part of it. I'll share with you my Audible reading list because it's public. There's about 400, 500 books. I don't know how many books are in there, but you'll see my reading list. I decided during COVID, was when my Audible journey began during COVID, that I was like, right, I need to go back to what I was good at when I was at school, which was reading. Because I was a bit of a nervous kid, I'd get bullied, and I would turn to books. And then what used to be my insecurity became one of my greatest weapons when I got older, because like, you know what, I'm really good at reading. I'm gonna read. To get really good. And it was interesting that was the thing that I was told when I was a kid. I was like, just keep reading. You'll discover that that's the thing that the girls are going to want in 10 years from now. They're not going to care about that now, but just read, learn, self-educate, grow, and these will be the things that will make the difference through the sands of time. That involves you doing an identity shift. What do? I just read, or I learn, and then I apply. I learn and then I apply. I learn, then I apply. If you can just acquire the reading habit, I think that's going to take you, way further. I have a goal to build a software that's going to generate $20,000 a month, passive income. But the way that I need to do that, saying that out loud is a form of social contract, because the biggest thing that we all have in this life is our integrity, and your integrity is your word. People tend to use language very flippantly. And that was one of the things that I began to understand that led to me changing my relationships, because people just lie. They say things that are incongruent with what's happening. Yeah, I'll get back to you on Wednesday. And then it's like Friday. And I'm like, but why would you didn't keep your word. That's all that you have. That's before money. It's your word. So as you go through the mindset journey through reading, and then you begin to experience an identity shift, and language is what we begin with because we read and we intellectualize. You then begin to understand how to transform at an identity level, and then what you begin with is commitments. So I commit to going to a sales training. I commit to updating my Facebook every day. I commit to, and that's where you publicly speak about it, your social contract. I'd love to get one commitment that everyone wants to make today before they go off to lunch. So what I'll do, because we're going to go for lunch in 15 minutes, if you can all take a minute to think about a commitment to yourself and maybe to the room that you would like to make, why don't you just take a minute and maybe write it down. So you can go ahead and just, whatever that might be, you can write it down now, because it's also about yourself. What am I committing to after doing this? And then for those of you who are comfortable, of course, I'd love to hear what those commitments are. So I would love to have everyone write down a commitment that you want to make. So what I want us to engage in right now, as part of the identity shift to become incredible sales professionals, I want you to execute the social contract. Failing forward is fine. It's not about really meeting all your commitments. It's about the value and effort in direction of the commitment. It's normal to be worried by that, but don't feel judged by that, because it's great. If our kid doesn't get an A, but they get a C, but they work damn hard, this is something to be proud of. If a kid gets an A and they didn't try, as you'll discover, this is not something to be proud of. Because the act of effort is a way better indicator of success than success itself is. Success that comes easy is often ephemeral, fleeting, easy come, easy go. Things that you work with tend to stick. If you want to read one book that is great for frameworks for growth, you could read a book called $100 Million Leads. It's by Alex Hormozy. He's got a trilogy, but $100 Million Leads is a fantastic book. The underlying principle is little and often with everything. Like, commit to learning little and often, little and often, little and often. One of the things that you will have to do in this day and age is to become technically very competent, because the way that the world is moving, and to have to also get used to being fiddly, basically, when it comes to URLs, when it comes to making sure that you've got it. And this is often a proxy for the sales process, because there's a vision of what you think sales will be, and then there's a reality of it. And one of the things that will massively accelerate your development is technical comfort. Because often, for example, the best way that I had to learn how to get competent with getting Google reviews from people, if you think about it, is to understand, well, how does Google load on Safari? How does it load on Chrome? What if people don't have a Google login? What do I do on the spot, in person, if someone gives me their phone and I can quickly whiz them through how to do it? How do I work through all of those different scenarios to make the process as easy as possible? And the reason I wanted to make it a little bit difficult was because I wanted to observe how people respond to that, because you're experiencing what your customer might experience unknowingly. So you have to make the buying journey as easy as possible. So for all of you who have an online sign-up process or think about it from your customer's perspective and work on the basis that they're technically going to struggle. So there was actually a reason why I purposefully made it a bit weird. So part of it is putting yourself in the shoes of the customer.